Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Trehan. And I'll be addressing a few things which I think are important for the public to understand as far as the current situation in the pandemic is concerned. And I'll take it from where Dr. Trehan left off. The first, of course, most important thing to understand is that in COVID 19, and we have now enough data that more than 85% of people will recover without any really specific treatment in the form of remdesivir, steroids, or any other drugs that we are talking about. Most of them will have features which will be like a common cold, body aches, fever, sore throat. Some may have gastritis, and over a period of 5 to 7 days, they will recover with just symptomatic treatment, which means just taking paracetamol, keeping yourself hydrated, doing your regular exercise, taking your vitamins, and just being positive about your health. It's only 15% of people who may go on to what we call moderate disease, where your oxygen saturation may fall, or you may have high grade fever, and there may be markers to suggest ongoing inflammation. Now, it's only in that percentage of people who have other features to suggest that the disease has progressed that we need to give treatment in the form of remdesivir, steroids, anticoagulants, and sometimes we also give convalescent plasma. So it's important for everyone to understand that most of us who are either in home isolation or even in the hospital because of panic don't really need any specific treatment. Like you treat a simple cold, you can get away with treating COVID in majority of people with just taking paracetamol, keeping yourself well hydrated. It's only a small percentage which will require drugs like remdesivir, and there is no data which suggests that remdesivir taken in mild disease will save lives or will have any benefit. The data for remdesivir does not show that it actually decreases mortality. It only has been shown to decrease hospital stay. And the large study done by WHO, the recovery trial, was a negative study. It did not show any role of remdesivir. Therefore, don't consider this to be a magic bullet. It is something that we need to keep in mind. So that is the first message that I would like to give, that majority of people don't need to panic. They can home isolate themselves. And as Dr. Devi Shetty said, monitor yourself at home, keep yourself well hydrated, monitor your saturation, and consult your doctor if you have any worry. But you will become all right staying at home, and you will not need to come to the hospital. Very few will actually need to come to the hospital. By rushing to the hospital, you are creating more chaos, and you're not actually benefiting yourself, and you're actually denying a bed to a fellow citizen who may need it and may not be able to get it because of unnecessary hospitalization for people who don't need to be in hospital. The second thing that I would like to talk of is regarding oxygen. Now, there is a lot of issue as far as oxygen is concerned. I do agree, and this is very important for those who have oxygen or need oxygen. Oxygen is a treatment, it's like a drug. And therefore, it's very, very important for us to understand that one of the treatment for COVID 19 is to give oxygen if you need it. And in many lung diseases, when you have pneumonia, when you have chronic lung disease, when your saturation falls, oxygen is a treatment that is given sometimes for a short duration, but sometimes people are on long term oxygen therapy if their lungs are bad because of a chronic lung disease. Now, an important issue here is that taking oxygen intermittently. Your saturation is all right, but you say, okay, let me take oxygen for half an hour after my meals, or if I take oxygen for a few hours in the day, my saturation goes up and I'm feeling better, and I should therefore continue oxygen, is actually a waste of oxygen. There is no data to show that this will be of any help to you, and therefore this is something that you should not do. Many patients have started keeping oxygen cylinders at home and have started taking it for half an hour, 2 hours. That itself is more harmful and is actually again denying oxygen to people who actually need it. The third important thing to remember as far as oxygen is concerned is oxygen is carried in our blood. And we look at what is the oxygen which is carried in the blood by looking at the oxygen saturation. But if your saturation is 92, 93, or your saturation is 98, 99, the actual oxygen in the blood is not very different, because the oxygen dissociation curve is what we call a sigmoid curve. And after you reach a saturation of 90, it is actually flat. So you don't really get too much of oxygen in your blood, even if you go from 92 to 98. Therefore, in those individuals who are having an oxygen saturation of 93, 94, there is no need to really take high oxygen or high flow oxygen just to maintain your saturation at 98, 99. It is not going to be of any benefit. Therefore, you should have a judicious use of oxygen. There is no need to take oxygen if your saturation is over 95. If it is less than 9 and over 94, if it's less than 94, you need close monitoring, but you still may not need oxygen because your oxygen in the blood is still sufficient in those patients who are healthy. In some patients who have chronic disease or who have other problems like chronic heart disease, you may want to keep the oxygen saturation on a slightly higher side. But even if your oxygen is around 90, 92, don't panic, consult your doctor. You may need to be very closely monitored, but it is not that you should start oxygen to maintain your saturation over 97, 98. It is actually going to be of not much benefit. And I think as a country collectively, if we work together and say that we will use remdesivir judiciously, we use oxygen judiciously, there will be no shortage of oxygen, whether we talk of Maharashtra, Delhi, Chhattisgarh, or any other state, because in terms of the number of patients who need oxygen and the supply of oxygen, that is well balanced. But if you suddenly start hoarding oxygen, if you start using it when you don't need it, then obviously you will have a deficiency which is self created rather than actually existing. So, my appeal to everyone is that please don't take oxygen when it is not required. Taking oxygen just for the fun of it is denying oxygen to someone who may actually need it and whose life could be saved. And secondly, even if your oxygen saturation is 93, 94, don't rush to take oxygen to bring it up to 98, 99. Your oxygen carrying capacity in the blood will remain the same. It is not going to change so much as far as the oxygen dissociation curve is concerned. This third thing that I wanted to mention was regarding vaccination. There is a lot of fear that now what is the point in getting vaccination, because I know a person who got vaccinated and even after 2 weeks of vaccination, he got COVID 19. The vaccine prevents you from getting disease. It may not prevent you from getting infection. And we must understand the difference between the two. The vaccine will prevent you from getting disease in the form of severe illness, hospitalization, going into the ICU, or even dying from COVID 19. We know that it has a good protection in majority of people as far as the vaccine is concerned. But in some, you may still get, when you are exposed to a patient with COVID 19, the virus may still come in your nose and throat. It may multiply there for some time, but the antibodies which have been produced because of the vaccine that you've taken will not allow the virus to further replicate, and it will not allow the disease to become more severe, and therefore you will be saved. But during that time, your RT-PCR test can be positive and you may be infectious to others. Therefore, it's very important for all of us to understand that even after getting the vaccine, we may have a positive COVID report and we will also be infectious. So, wearing a mask even after you have become COVID positive, after you got your vaccine, is very, very important to protect your near and dear ones, your family members, your colleagues, because they may not have been vaccinated or their vaccine may not have been completed in terms of both the shots, and they may be susceptible to the infection. Therefore, please remember that masking is still important even after you've taken your vaccine. And the vaccine will prevent you from severe disease, but you may still get the infection, and you should not get dejected that I took the vaccine and now I've still got COVID 19, because currently we know that the vaccine does not prevent from infection. Hopefully, as we go along and more research comes in, we will have better vaccines which may also prevent us from getting the infection, and that would be very good because that will really bring down the number of cases and break the chain of transmission. I would like to say in the end that the most important thing for all of us is to have COVID appropriate behavior. Vaccine is just one weapon that we have, but vaccine is not something which will bring down the pandemic. The number of cases that we are having right now have to be brought down by breaking the chain of transmission. This is a virus which spreads from one human to another. It doesn't spread by water, it doesn't spread by mosquitoes. So, if we are able to prevent virus spreading from ourselves, if we are positive to another person, we will break the chain of transmission and the virus will not spread in our community. Therefore, wear your mask properly. Make sure it covers your nose and mouth. It is tightly sealed from the side so that you are also protected and you are also adding to protecting others also. So, masking up is very, very important.